I'm glad you're here. Stay with me until the end, and let me know in the comments which city you're watching from. My name is Sarah Chen. I'm 36 years old. I'm a criminal defense attorney in New York City. I've defended murderers, thieves, and people who have done things most of you can't imagine. I've won cases that no one thought I could win. I've built a reputation as the lawyer you call when no one else will take your case. 20 years ago, I was a different person. I was a 16-year-old girl sitting in the corner of a summer camp cabin, trying to make myself as small as possible. I was the girl who was picked last for everything. The girl who ate lunch alone. The girl who was called names I still don't like to remember. And there was one girl who made sure I knew I didn't belong. Her name was Whitney Ashford. She was beautiful. She was rich. She was the kind of girl who could make everyone in the room laugh, and she made them laugh at me. She poured water on my bed. She hid my clothes. She spread rumors about me that followed me through every summer, through the school year, through the years I spent trying to forget. She told everyone I was strange, that I was poor, that I didn't belong there. I was 16. I believed her. I believed her so completely that I almost gave up. I almost became the person she said I was. I didn't. I survived. I left that town. I built a life. I became someone she never expected me to be. 20 years later, she was arrested for fraud. A multi-million-dollar scheme. She was facing 20 years in federal prison. Her lawyers had dropped her. Her family had turned their backs on her. She had no one left. And she came to me. The only lawyer who would take her case. The only person who could save her from spending the rest of her life in prison. Before I tell you what I decided, before I tell you whether I defended the girl who made my life hell, I need you to understand what she did to me. I need you to understand the damage she caused. I need you to understand the girl I was before she broke me, and the woman I became after. If you've ever been broken by someone who was supposed to be your peer, drop a broken heart in the comments. And tell me where you're watching from. I want to know who else has been where I was. Let me take you back. To a summer camp in the mountains of Vermont. To a cabin with bunk beds and a girl named Whitney. To the summer I learned that the people who are supposed to be your friends can be the ones who hurt you most. The camp was called Camp Dakota. It was the kind of place that rich families sent their children for the summer. There were horses and a lake and a dining hall that looked like a lodge from a movie. My parents saved for a year to send me. My father was a high school teacher. My mother was a nurse. They wanted me to have experiences they never had. They wanted me to make friends. They wanted me to belong. I was 14 when I went for the first time. I was shy. I was awkward. I wore glasses that were too big for my face and clothes that my mother bought at the discount store. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to be anything except the quiet girl who read books and kept to herself. The first summer was okay. I was lonely, but I wasn't tormented. I made a few friends. I learned to swim. I went home at the end of the summer feeling like I had survived something. The second summer was different. Whitney Ashford was there. She was 15. She was tall. She was blonde. She had the kind of confidence that comes from never being told you're not enough. Her family had money. Her father was a banker. Her mother was a socialite. She wore clothes that fit her perfectly, that cost more than my parents made in a month. She was the queen of the camp. Everyone wanted to be her friend. Everyone wanted to be noticed by her. And she noticed me. The first day, I was unpacking my things in the cabin. We were in the same cabin, the same bunk beds. I was on the bottom. She was on the top. She looked down at me from her bunk, her blonde hair falling over the edge. "What's your name?" she asked. "Sarah," I said. She looked at my clothes. She looked at my glasses. She looked at the book I was reading. "Sarah what?" "Sarah Chen." She smiled. It was the kind of smile that didn't reach her eyes. Where are you from, Sarah Chen? New Haven, Connecticut. She laughed. New Haven. That's where the poor people live, right? I didn't know what to say. I was from New Haven. My parents worked hard. We weren't poor. But standing there, looking up at Whitney in her expensive clothes, I felt poor. I felt small. I felt like I didn't belong. Don't worry, she said. I'll take care of you. You just have to do what I say. I didn't know what that meant. I was 14. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to belong. I said okay. That was the beginning. The first few weeks, she was nice to me. She let me sit with her at meals. She introduced me to her friends. She made me feel like I was part of something. But it was a game. I didn't know that then. I was too young, too naive, too desperate to be accepted. I didn't see that she was collecting information, learning my weaknesses, finding the places where I was most vulnerable. She asked me about my family. I told her about my father, the teacher. About my mother, the nurse. About our small house, our old car, the scholarships I was hoping to get for college. She listened. She nodded. She smiled. And then, one day, she stopped being nice. It was the 4th week of camp. I came back to the cabin after swimming. My bunk was wet. My pillow was soaked. My clothes were on the floor. Whitney was sitting on her bunk, watching me. What happened? I asked. She shrugged. I don't know. Maybe you spilled something. I looked at the water. It was everywhere. My things were ruined. I didn't spill anything, I said. I was at the lake. She looked at me. Her friends were standing behind her, watching. Waiting. Maybe you should be more careful, she said. Maybe you should keep your things somewhere else. Somewhere they won't get in the way. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I gathered my wet things. I put them in my bag. I sat on my bunk, in the dark, listening to them laugh. That was the beginning. After that, it got worse. My clothes went missing. My books were found in the trash. My mother's scarf, the one she had given me before I left, was cut into pieces. I told the counselors. They said they would look into it. They didn't. Whitney was the daughter of a banker. Her family donated money to the camp. They weren't going to do anything to upset her. I tried to stay away from her. I tried to be invisible. But she found me. She always found me. She called me names I won't repeat here. She told people I was stealing from other campers. She said my family was on welfare. She said I was only there because of charity. People believed her. Why wouldn't they? She was rich. She was beautiful. She was the kind of person who was supposed to be good. And I was the kind of person who was supposed to be nothing. The summer ended. I went home. I didn't tell my parents what happened. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I didn't want them to know that I had failed, that I couldn't make friends, that I was the kind of person people laughed at. I didn't go back to camp. I told my parents I didn't like it. They were disappointed. They had saved for a year to send me. But they didn't push. They let me stay home. I spent the next summers working at a bookstore, reading, studying. I got good grades. I got a scholarship to college. I went to law school. I became someone. I didn't think about Whitney. I didn't think about the camp. I didn't think about the girl who had made my life hell. I had left her behind. I had become someone she couldn't touch. I started my career at a small firm in New York. I worked on criminal defense cases. I defended people who had no one else. I was good at it. I was the lawyer who could see the story behind the crime. The lawyer who could find the truth when everyone else had given up. The lawyer who could convince a jury to look past what they thought they knew. I made partner when I was 32. I started my own firm when I was 34. I had a reputation. I had a life. I had built something that was mine. I didn't think about Whitney Ashford. I didn't think about the camp. I didn't think about the girl who had made me feel like I was nothing. And then, on a Tuesday in October, her case landed on my desk. The file was thick. I opened it. The name at the top was Whitney Ashford. Charges: wire fraud, securities fraud, money laundering. Amount: $12 million. Potential sentence: 20 years in federal prison. I read the file. I read about the scheme she had run. The fake companies. The forged documents. The investors who had lost everything. Retirees. Widows. People who had trusted her. She had been arrested 3 months ago. Her lawyers had dropped her. Her family had cut her off. She had no money, no resources, no one to turn to. And she had asked for me. Specifically me. The only lawyer in the city who might take her case. My assistant knocked on the door. "There's someone here to see you." "She doesn't have an appointment. She says it's urgent." "Who is it?" "Her name is Whitney Ashford. She says you used to know her. From camp." I sat at my desk. I looked at the window. The city was bright with sun. The buildings were tall. The sky was blue. "Send her in," I said. The door opened. She walked in. She was older. Her hair was gray at the temples. Her face was lined. She was thin, too thin, the kind of thin that comes from stress, from fear, from a life that had fallen apart. She was wearing a coat that was too thin for the weather. Her hands were shaking. She looked at me. She looked at my office. She looked at the diplomas on the wall, the photographs of the cases I had won, the desk that was mine. "Sarah," she said. "Sarah Chen." "Ms. Ashford," I said. "It's been a long time." She nodded. She sat down in the chair across from my desk. She didn't wait for me to invite her. "I need your help," she said. Her voice was different than I remembered. Softer. Smaller. "I don't have anyone else to ask." I didn't say anything. I waited. I watched her sit there, in my office, in the place I had built without her. "I know what I did to you," she said. "At camp. I know I was cruel. I know I hurt you. I know I made your life hell. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." She looked at me. Her eyes were wet. Her face was the face of someone who had been carrying something for a very long time. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," she said. "I know I don't deserve that. I'm asking you to help me. I'm asking you to be my lawyer. I'm asking you to save me from spending the rest of my life in prison." I looked at her. I looked at the woman who had broken me. I looked at the woman who was sitting in my office, begging me for something I had spent 20 years believing I would never give her. "Why should I help you?" I asked. "Why should I do anything for you? You made my life hell. You made me feel like I was nothing. You took something from me that I can never get back." She started to cry. Tears running down her face. She didn't wipe them away. "I know," she said. "I know what I did. I know I was cruel. I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve anything from you. But I'm not the same person I was. I was 15 years old. I was stupid. I was scared. I was trying to be someone I wasn't. And I took it out on you. I took it out on the one person who was weaker than me, who couldn't fight back." She wiped her face with the back of her hand. "I've spent 20 years regretting it," she said. "I've spent 20 years wishing I could go back and be different. I've spent 20 years carrying the weight of what I did. And now I'm facing 20 years in prison. I'm facing losing everything. And I don't want to die in a cell. I don't want to be the person I was. I want to be someone else. Someone better. I sat at my desk. I looked at her. I looked at this woman who had broken me. I looked at this woman who was asking me for something I had spent 20 years believing I would never give her. I'll think about it, I said. I'm not promising anything. But I'll think about it. She nodded. She stood up. She walked to the door. She stopped with her hand on the handle. I'm sorry, she said. For everything. For what I did. For the person I was. For the years I took from you. I'm sorry. She left. I sat in my office, alone, and I thought about what I was going to do. Here's where I need to pause. Because what I decided, whether to take the case, whether to defend the woman who destroyed my life, that decision changed everything. It changed me. It changed her. It changed the way I think about justice, about redemption, about what it means to be the person who shows up. If you've ever had to choose between revenge and redemption, type choice in the comments. Let me know you understand. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my apartment, on the couch, staring at the wall. My cat, a black rescue named Justice, curled up beside me. She purred. She didn't ask questions. She didn't tell me what to do. I thought about Whitney. About the way she looked in my office. Older. Thinner. Broken in a way I hadn't seen before. The Whitney I knew was confident. Cruel. She was the one who made other people feel small. She was the one who laughed at the girls who didn't belong. She was the one who always came out on top. The woman in my office wasn't that woman. That woman was gone. In her place was someone else. Someone who had lost everything. Someone who was afraid. Someone who was begging. I thought about what she did to me. The water on my bed. The clothes in the trash. The scarf my mother had given me, cut into pieces. The names she called me. The way she made me feel like I was nothing. I thought about the years I spent wondering what was wrong with me. The years I spent trying to be invisible. The years I spent building myself back from nothing. I thought about the case. $12 million in fraud. Retirees. Widows. People who had trusted her. People who had lost everything. If the evidence was strong, she was looking at 20 years. 20 years in federal prison. She would be nearly 60 when she got out. I didn't know if she was guilty. I hadn't seen the evidence. I hadn't talked to her about the case. But she said she needed help. She said she had no one else. And something in her voice, something in the way she said it, made me want to listen. Maybe I was a fool. Maybe I was letting the past cloud my judgment. Maybe I was letting Whitney manipulate me the way she had manipulated everyone else. But I couldn't stop thinking about the woman in my office. The woman who said she was sorry. The woman who said she had spent 20 years regretting what she did. The woman who was facing losing everything. I was the lawyer who took cases no one else would take. I was the lawyer who defended people who had no one else to defend them. I had built my career on being the person who showed up when everyone else walked away. If I didn't take this case, I wouldn't be that person anymore. I would be someone else. Someone who let the past decide the future. Someone who chose revenge over redemption. I didn't want to be that person. I had spent 20 years becoming someone else. Someone stronger. Someone better. Someone who didn't need revenge because she had already won. I picked up my phone. I called my assistant. Call the Federal Public Defender's office. Tell them I'm representing Whitney Ashford. I want to see her tomorrow. The federal courthouse in Manhattan is a gray building on Pearl Street. It's the kind of building that doesn't want you to forget where you are. The walls are thick. The doors are heavy. The air smells like nothing. Like everything has been stripped away. I walked through security. I showed my bar card. I signed the visitor log. I waited in a small room with plastic chairs and fluorescent lights and a window that looked out at nothing. They brought her in. Whitney was wearing an orange jumpsuit. Her hands were cuffed. Her feet were shackled. She walked like someone who had already given up. She sat down across from me. She didn't look at me. "Whitney," I said. "I'm going to represent you. I'm going to be your lawyer." She looked up. Her eyes were red. Her face was pale. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in days. "Why?" she asked. "Why would you do that? After what I did to you?" "Because I'm a lawyer. Because you need help. Because I don't let people go to prison when I can stop it. Because I'm not the person you were. I'm not the person who hurts people for no reason." She started to cry. She put her face in her hands. Her shoulders shook. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm so sorry. I know it doesn't matter. I know it doesn't change anything. But I'm sorry. I've been sorry for 20 years. Tell me about the case," I said. "Tell me what happened. Everything. Don't leave anything out." She told me. Her name was Whitney Ashford. She was 35 years old. She had been a financial advisor for 12 years. She had started her own firm 5 years ago. She had been successful. She had been respected. She had been someone. Then the market crashed. Her clients lost money. She tried to make it back. She made bad investments. She lost more. She was afraid. She was ashamed. She didn't know what to do. She started lying. She told her clients their money was safe. She showed them fake statements. She told them the market was recovering. She told them to wait. She kept lying. She kept losing. She kept hoping that something would change, that the market would turn, that she would find a way to make it right. It didn't. She lost everything. Her clients lost everything. And when the truth came out, when the investigators came, she had nothing left to give. "I didn't steal the money," she said. "I lost it. I made bad decisions. I was stupid. I was scared. But I didn't take it. I didn't put it in my pocket. I was trying to save what I could. I was trying to make it right." She looked at me. Her eyes were wet. Her face was the face of someone who had been carrying something for a very long time. "I know that doesn't make it better," she said. "I know it doesn't change what happened. But I want you to know. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I was trying to protect them. And I failed. I failed everyone." I listened to her story. I took notes. I watched her face. I watched for the tells, the signs that someone is lying. I saw none. What I saw was a woman who was terrified. A woman who had made terrible mistakes. A woman who didn't know how to get out. "Why didn't you stop?" I asked. "When you started losing money, why didn't you tell them the truth?" She looked at me. Her eyes were wet. "Because I was scared. Because I didn't want them to think I was a failure. Because I wanted to fix it. Because I thought I could. Because I didn't know how to say I was wrong." "You were afraid of being seen as a failure." "Yes." "So you made it worse." "Yes." She put her head in her hands. Her shoulders shook. "I know I deserve to go to prison," she said. "I know I deserve to lose everything. But I'm asking you to help me. I'm asking you to give me a chance. I'm asking you to let me be someone else. Someone better. Someone who doesn't run away when things get hard." I sat back. I looked at her. At this woman who had broken me. At this woman who was sitting in a jail cell, accused of fraud. At this woman who was asking me to save her. "The evidence is strong," I said. The fake statements. The forged documents. The clients who lost everything. The DA is going to try to make you the villain. They're going to say you stole from people who trusted you. They're going to say you're a con artist. They're going to say you deserve to go to prison for a long time. I know, she said. I know. But I've defended people in worse situations. I've won cases that no one thought I could win. And I'm going to win this one. But I need you to trust me. I need you to tell me the truth. Always. No matter what. Can you do that? She looked at me. Her eyes were wet. Her face was pale. But there was something in her expression that hadn't been there before. Something that looked like hope. Yes, she said. I trust you. The next week was a blur of motions and meetings and late nights in my office. I pulled the discovery. I reviewed the bank statements. I talked to the investigators. I talked to the DA. I built a case. The evidence against Whitney was strong, but it wasn't ironclad. She had made bad investments. She had lied to her clients. She had shown them fake statements. But she hadn't taken the money. The money was gone, lost in the market, not sitting in a secret account in the Caymans. She was guilty of fraud, of lying, of trying to cover up her mistakes. But she wasn't a thief. She wasn't a con artist. She was a woman who had been afraid, who had made terrible decisions, who had lost everything. I filed a motion to suppress some of the evidence. I argued that the investigators had overstepped their bounds. The judge granted the motion. The DA was furious. He called me. He yelled at me. He told me I was letting a criminal go free. I hung up on him. I went back to work. Whitney called me every day from the detention center. She told me about her life. About the years after camp. About the person she had tried to become. I was terrible to you, she said one night. I was terrible to a lot of people. I was the kind of person who made other people feel small so I could feel big. I was cruel. I was mean. I was everything I didn't want to be. You were 15, I said. We were all stupid at 15. That's not an excuse. I knew what I was doing. I knew I was hurting you. I knew I was making your life hell. And I did it anyway. Because I could. Because you couldn't fight back. Because it made me feel powerful. She was quiet for a moment. I heard her breathing. I heard her trying to find words. I think about that summer all the time, she said. I think about the things I did. The things I said. The way I made you feel. And I wish I could go back. I wish I could be different. I wish I could be the person I should have been. You can't go back, I said. None of us can. But you can be different now. You can be the person you want to be. You can make different choices. You can be better. I'm trying, she said. I'm trying to be better. The trial was set for January. 3 months away. 3 months to prepare. 3 months to build a case that would save a woman's life. I worked every day. I worked weekends. I worked through the holidays. I interviewed witnesses. I hired experts. I built a timeline. I built a narrative. Whitney was not a thief. She was a woman who had made terrible mistakes. She was a woman who had been afraid. She was a woman who had tried to protect her clients and failed. She was guilty of fraud, of lying, of covering up her losses. But she wasn't a criminal. She wasn't a monster. She was a person who had lost her way. The DA didn't care. He had a case to win. He had a career to protect. He didn't care about the truth. He cared about the conviction. I knew that game. I had played it before. I knew how to win. A month before the trial, I got a call from the DA. He wanted to make a deal. He wanted Whitney to plead guilty to a lesser charge. 5 years. 5 years in federal prison. I went to see Whitney. I told her about the offer. 5 years, she said. That's a long time. It is. But if we go to trial and lose, you're looking at 20. She looked at me. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. What do you think I should do? I looked at her. I thought about the girl who had poured water on my bed. The girl who had cut up my mother's scarf. The girl who had made my life hell. I thought about the woman she had become. The woman who was trying to be better. The woman who was asking me to help her. I think you should take the deal, I said. 5 years is a long time. But it's not 20. You'll be 40 when you get out. You can still have a life. You can still be someone. She nodded. She wiped her eyes. She looked at me. I'll take it, she said. I'll plead guilty. I'll take responsibility for what I did. I'll do the time. And when I get out, I'll try to be someone else. Someone better. Someone who deserves a second chance. Here's where I need to pause. Because what happened next, the sentencing hearing, the moment I saw Whitney in the courtroom, the words she said to the judge, that's the part of this story I didn't expect. That's the part that taught me something about redemption, about forgiveness, about the kind of person I wanted to be. If you've ever had to watch someone pay for their mistakes, type pay in the comments. Let me know you understand. The sentencing hearing was on a Friday. The courtroom was full. The press was there. The victims were there, the retirees, the widows, the people who had trusted Whitney with their life savings. They sat in the gallery, their faces hard, their eyes fixed on the woman who had taken everything from them. I sat at the defense table with Whitney. She was wearing a gray suit. Her lawyer had picked it out. It was the only suit she owned. She looked small. She looked scared. She looked like someone who was about to lose everything. You ready? I asked. She nodded. Her hands were shaking. I'm scared. That's okay. Being scared is normal. But I need you to be brave. I need you to say what you need to say. Can you do that? She looked at me. Her eyes were wet. But there was something in her expression that hadn't been there before. Something that looked like determination. I can do it, she said. I have to. The judge called the case. The DA stood up. He talked about the victims. He talked about the money. He talked about the lies. He talked about the years Whitney had spent deceiving people who trusted her. He asked for the maximum sentence. 20 years. Then it was my turn. I stood up. I walked to the center of the courtroom. Your Honor, I said. My client is guilty. She doesn't deny that. She lied to her clients. She showed them fake statements. She tried to cover up her mistakes. She did things that hurt people. She knows that. She's not asking you to ignore what she did. I looked at Whitney. She was sitting at the defense table, her hands folded, her face pale. But my client is not a thief. She didn't take the money. She lost it. She made bad investments. She was afraid. She was ashamed. She didn't know how to tell the truth. And she has spent every day since her arrest wishing she could go back and do things differently. I turned to the judge. My client has accepted responsibility for her actions. She has agreed to plead guilty. She has agreed to cooperate with the authorities. She is not the same person who committed these crimes. She has changed. She is trying to be better. And I'm asking you to give her a chance. Give her a chance to become the person she wants to be. The judge nodded. He looked at Whitney. Ms. Ashford, he said. Do you have anything you want to say? Whitney stood up. She walked to the podium. Her hands were shaking. Her face was pale. She looked at the judge. Then she turned to the gallery. She looked at the victims. The people she had hurt. The people she had lied to. "I'm sorry," she said. Her voice was quiet. It was shaking. "I know that doesn't mean anything. I know it doesn't change what I did. I know it doesn't give you back your money. I know it doesn't fix the years you lost. But I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." She stopped. She put her hand over her mouth. She was crying. The courtroom was silent. "I was scared," she said. "I was scared of being a failure. I was scared of letting people down. I was scared of being the person everyone thought I was. And I let that fear control me. I let it make me do terrible things. I let it hurt people who trusted me." She wiped her face. She looked at the judge. "I know I deserve to go to prison. I know I deserve to lose everything. But I'm asking you to give me a chance. Not because I deserve it. Because I want to be someone else. Someone better. Someone who doesn't run away when things get hard. Someone who tells the truth. Someone who helps people instead of hurting them." She looked at me. Her eyes were wet. Her face was the face of someone who had been carrying something for a very long time. "I've spent 20 years trying to be someone I'm not," she said. "I've spent 20 years trying to be the person everyone expected me to be. And I failed. I failed at everything. But I want to try again. I want to be someone different. I want to be someone who matters. I want to be someone who deserves a second chance." She sat down. The courtroom was silent. The judge looked at her. He looked at the victims. He looked at the DA. "I'll take this under advisement," he said. "Sentencing will be in 2 weeks." The 2 weeks were the longest of my life. I waited. I watched. I hoped. I didn't know what the judge would do. I didn't know if he would give her 5 years or 20. I didn't know if the words she said had made a difference. I didn't know if anything could make a difference. Whitney called me every day. She was scared. She was anxious. She was waiting. "What if he gives me 20 years?" she asked. "What if I spend the rest of my life in prison?" "Then you spend the rest of your life in prison," I said. "But you don't give up. You don't stop trying to be someone else. You don't stop trying to be better. You do the time. You come out. And you build something new." "You really believe that? You really believe I can be someone else?" I was quiet for a moment. I thought about the girl who had poured water on my bed. The girl who had cut up my mother's scarf. The girl who had made my life hell. I thought about the woman who was sitting in a jail cell, waiting to find out if she would ever be free. "I believe that people can change," I said. "I believe that people can be better. I believe that the person you were is not the person you have to be. I believe that you can build something new. I believe that you can be someone who matters." She was quiet. I heard her breathing. I heard her crying. "Thank you," she said. "Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you for being the person you are." The sentencing was on a Friday. The courtroom was full again. The victims were there. The press was there. The DA was there. Whitney sat beside me. Her hands were shaking. Her face was pale. The judge walked in. He sat down. He looked at the papers in front of him. He looked at Whitney. "Ms. Ashford," he said. "I've reviewed the evidence. I've reviewed the statements from the victims. I've reviewed the statements from your family. I've reviewed the letters that have been sent on your behalf. And I've thought about what you said. About wanting to be someone else. About wanting to be better." He paused. The courtroom was silent. "I've been a judge for 23 years, he said. I've seen a lot of people stand in front of me and say they're sorry. Some of them meant it. Some of them didn't. I've learned to tell the difference." He looked at Whitney. His face was kind. His eyes were tired. "I believe you're sorry," he said. "I believe you want to be someone else. I believe you want to be better. And I believe that you can be." He paused. He looked at the papers again. "I'm sentencing you to 5 years in federal prison." 5 years. That's a long time. But it's not the rest of your life. When you get out, you'll be 40 years old. You'll have a chance to build something new. You'll have a chance to be someone else. You'll have a chance to be better. Whitney started to cry. She put her face in her hands. Her shoulders shook. "Don't waste it," the judge said. "Don't waste this chance. Be the person you want to be. Be the person you told me you could be." He banged his gavel. The hearing was over. Whitney was going to prison. I went to see her one last time before she was transferred. She was in the holding cell, waiting for the marshals to take her away. She was wearing the same gray suit. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. 5 years, she said. "That's a long time." "It is. But it's not 20. You'll be 40 when you get out. You'll have a chance." She looked at me. Her eyes were wet. "Why did you do it? Why did you help me? After what I did to you?" I looked at her. I looked at the woman who had broken me. I looked at the woman who was going to prison. I looked at the woman who was asking me why I had saved her. "Because I'm not you," I said. "Because I don't let people drown when I can save them. Because I don't punish people for being weak. Because I'm not the person who holds on to anger for 20 years and lets it destroy everything. Because I want to be free." She started to cry. She put her hands over her face. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm so sorry. For everything. For what I did to you. For the person I was. For the years I took from you. I'm sorry." "I know," I said. "I know." The marshals came. They took her away. I watched her go. She didn't look back. I didn't think about Whitney after that. Not the way I had thought about her before. She was there, in the background, the way things are when they've been part of your life for so long you don't notice them anymore. But she wasn't heavy. She wasn't sharp. She was just a memory. A story. A thing that had happened to someone who was not me anymore. I went back to work. "I know you didn't do it for me. I know you did it because you're the person you are. But I want you to know that you saved me. You saved me from being the person I was. You saved me from spending the rest of my life in prison. You saved me from becoming the person everyone thought I was. I'm not the same person who poured water on your bed. I'm not the same person who cut up your mother's scarf. I'm not the same person who made your life hell. I'm someone else. Someone better. Someone who deserves the chance you gave me. I hope you're well. I hope you're happy. I hope you know that you changed my life. Thank you. For everything. Whitney." I read the letter. I looked at the window. The city was bright with sun. The buildings were tall. The sky was blue. I put the letter in my desk drawer. I went back to work. Here's what I've learned. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about you. It's about letting go of something that was never yours to carry. It's about choosing to be free. It's about building a life that is yours, a life that no one can take away, a life that is enough. Whitney took something from me. She took my sense of belonging. She took my confidence. She took years of my life that I spent trying to be invisible. But I built something new. I built a career that was mine. I built a reputation that was mine. I built a life that was mine. And when she came to me, broken and scared, I didn't turn her away. I gave her a second chance. I defended her. I helped her. I let her be part of my life. Not because she deserved it, but because I wanted to be the kind of person who gives second chances. Because I wanted to be the kind of person who doesn't let the past decide the future. Because I wanted to be free. I didn't forgive her. Not the way you think. I didn't wake up one day and decide to let go of the anger. I didn't have a moment of clarity where I understood what she did and why. I didn't find peace in the knowledge that she was sorry. But I let go. I let go because I was tired. I was tired of carrying something that wasn't mine to carry. I was tired of being angry at someone who didn't matter anymore. I was tired of being the person who was broken. I was tired of being the person who couldn't move on. I let go. And when I let go, I realized something. The person who broke me was not the person who saved me. I was the one who saved me. I was the one who built a life from nothing. I was the one who became someone. I was the one who let go. I am Sarah Chen. I am 36 years old. I am a criminal defense attorney in New York City. I defend people who have no one else to defend them. I fight for the truth. I give second chances. And I am free. I am free of the girl who broke me. I am free of the girl who believed she was nothing. I am free of the weight I carried for 20 years. I am free of the story I told myself about who I was and what I deserved. I am free because I chose to be. I am free because I built something that no one could take away. I am free because I am the person I decided to be. If you've ever been broken by someone who was supposed to be your peer, if you've ever had to choose between revenge and redemption, if you've ever wondered if you would ever be whole again, I want you to know something. You will be whole. You will build something new. You will become someone that no one can touch. Not because you forget what happened, but because you choose to be free. You don't have to forgive. You don't have to forget. You don't have to be the person who gives second chances. But you do have to be the person who shows up for yourself. Who fights for yourself. Who builds a life that is yours. And when the moment comes, when you have the chance to let go of the anger, the hurt, the weight of what was done to you, I hope you take it. Not because they deserve it. Because you do. Because you deserve to be free. My name is Sarah Chen. I defend the innocent. I fight for the truth. I give second chances. And I am free. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever had to choose between revenge and redemption, leave a comment. Tell me your story. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time. I have more stories to tell. And I want you to be here for them. My name is Sarah Chen. I am enough. I have always been enough. And so are you.